One of the greatest struggles in life is constantly comparing yourself to others. We often ask, why is she successful while I'm not? What we don't realize is that her journey and mine are not the same. Think of it this way. If a fish wishes to fly like a bird, it will spend its whole life believing it's a failure, even though it can swim across the vast ocean with ease. Today, social media has made this problem even worse. We scroll, see someone else's success, and suddenly feel our own life is small and unworthy. We forget the gifts we already have. And slowly, this habit pushes us towards sadness and hopelessness. That's why today's story is for anyone who has ever thought, I'll never be as good as them. Listen carefully, because each line may change the way you see yourself. There was once a quiet little village near a town, beside a large, beautiful forest. In this village lived a boy named Ethan. Ethan was kind and hard-working, but he had one habit that always made him unhappy. He compared himself with everyone else. When he saw his friend Liam always getting the best grades, Ethan would think, I wish I were as smart as him. When he looked at his rich neighbor Ryan, he would say to himself, I wish I had that kind of money. Even if someone ran faster than him, Ethan would sigh, why can't I run like that? These thoughts weighed him down. He lost focus on his studies. He stopped enjoying the things he once loved. Every day, the only thought in his mind was, I'll never be like them. One day, a wise old man named Grandpa Joe visited the village. Everyone respected him because he always shared wisdom that helped people. Ethan went up to him and said, Grandpa, I try so hard, but whenever I see others doing better, I feel worthless. It feels like I'll never measure up. Grandpa Joe smiled and said, Meet me tomorrow morning at the oldest tree in the village. There you'll find your answer. The next morning, Ethan went to the old tree, where Grandpa Joe was already waiting. Look around you carefully, Grandpa Joe said. Ethan looked around and replied, There are so many trees here, some tall, some short, some heavy with fruit, and some with none at all. Grandpa Joe smiled and said, Now imagine if the apple tree wished it were as tall as the coconut tree, or if the coconut tree wished for sweet fruit like the apple tree. How would that sound? Ethan laughed. That would sound ridiculous, Grandpa. Exactly, Grandpa Joe said. Now tell me, how does the forest look to you? Ethan thought for a moment and replied, It feels peaceful and beautiful. Everything seems perfect the way it is. Grandpa Joe nodded. That's how life is. Each tree has its own unique gift. The apple tree gives sweet fruit. The coconut tree is strong and tall. Both are different, but both are valuable. People are the same way. Every person has their own strengths. Then Grandpa Joe led Ethan to a pond. Fish were swimming in the water, while above, a bird glided through the sky. Now, Grandpa Joe said, imagine if the fish wished it could fly like the bird. Would that make sense? Of course not, Ethan replied. Fish are meant to swim, and birds are meant to fly. Grandpa Joe smiled gently. Exactly. So why do you keep wishing to be like someone else? You too have qualities that are uniquely yours. Maybe you just haven't discovered them yet, but once you do, and focus on them, your path will become clear. Hearing those words, something shifted inside Ethan. He finally understood. Everyone is different, and comparing yourself only leads to pain. From that day forward, he stopped comparing himself to others. Instead, he started working on his own talents. Slowly, his confidence returned. Life began to feel exciting again. Years later, through dedication and hard work, Ethan built his own business. He became an inspiration to the entire village. And whenever someone asked, "What's the secret of your success?" Ethan would smile and say, "Never compare yourself to others. If a fish tries to fly, it will always feel like a failure. But if it swims, it can rule the ocean." Remember this, the sun and the moon never shine at the same time, yet both are equally important. Find your own path. Walk it with courage. That is where true success lives.